Welcome to another week at the Undercover Policing Inquiry. Today we have the questioning of Guy Taylor, who was one of the Globalised Resistance, a activist group which mobilised against large large summits, organising protests, anti-capitalist, associated with sort of Trotskyite left. That group was infiltrated by the undercover officer Simon Wellings, who will be questioned next week. I'm joined with Donald Driscoll, Undercover Research Group. What can we expect to hear about today?
Today, I think we'll be mostly focused on Globalised Resistance, or Simon Wellings' time in that, because he was involved in Globalised Resistance, was compromised. He compromised himself, and we'll hear a lot about that today. I think that's going to be quite an interesting here. And then he moves on to the more anarchist groups like Dissent. So we won't have any witnesses at all on the Dissent period, but we are having several witnesses on Globalised Resistance. So it's today we'll have Guy Taylor, who was one of the main people in that organisation. Tomorrow we've Noel Douglas. I think Chris Nyland will also.
Chris Nyland tomorrow.
Wednesday. Okay. So this will be the cycle. So the inquiry is very much focusing on Wellings' time in Globalised Resistance, his role in the large protests. And Wellings travels to a lot of cities. He's in Seville. He's in, I think, Evian. So the big things of the early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons we haven't got that much in the way of like anarchist witnesses is because, for the most part, nobody really remembers him.
Yes, and there's a background story to that, which will hopefully come out next week. But yeah, really, he's been put forward. This is a great, successful deployment. Over a third of his time is spent in these groups. And like back in the day when we first got Wellings' name, I think got 2013. We went out here. We're connected to these movements. We went out. We spoke to everybody we could find. Only one person was able to say definitely that they knew him, and that was Patrick McCurdy, who basically seems to have stuck to like glue. But somehow this has become a massive, successful patricia. So yeah, none of us remember the people are circulating images and photos of him online. If you do remember him in these circles, please do get in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that goes for all the undercover officers. If you do remember him, please get in touch. Leave a comment, email the Undercover Research Group. There are numerous ways you can get in touch with us. So it's going to be a Guy Taylor all day today. Don't know if it'll be a particularly long session or not. It's really hard to know.
It'll be quite long.
It could well be
because Guy was one of the main people in the group, and I think he has a lot to say. He, was one of the people Wellings really targeted. So I think I believe Guy has a lot to say about Wellings and Wellings' fantasies.
So just to go through the rest of the week, as we said, tomorrow we'll be hearing from Chris Nyland, and then Wednesday Noel Douglas and MT, who was another member of Globalised Resistance. On Thursday, we'll be hearing from Patricia da Silva, who is the cousin of Jean-Charles de Mendes, who was murdered by Met Police in a case of mistaken identity on the London Tube in the aftermath of the 7/7 bombings. So, I mean, the majority of this week will be about Globalised Resistance. It'll all be on the same topic. I guess we'll have more to say about that after we've started hearing the evidence of Guy Taylor. I'll be honest, though I was around and a lot of the same protests as Globalised Resistance, as I wasn't part of the group and from a very different tradition, I don't know that much about them, really.
They were an anti-globalization group. They were definitely, on the more Trotskyist left tradition. I just before going to that, I was just step back and say, watch out for MT's story. It's we'll be touching on today. Can't go into it because it's still restricted on the thing, but it's quite something. It's going to be his rent book moment.
Right. Okay. Well,
Globalised Resistance was very much involved. In the UK, they were involved in Dicey. They were involved in helping put on the European Social Forum in 2004, which is riddled with spy cops. They were attracted to like flies. Went to a lot of the WTO protests, the European thing. So, Globalisation was at the core of a big upswell in mass protest movements. They were very active in it. They were thinking innovatively. One of the famous photos is of Wellings. They made a model of an orange model of a tank, which they used at anti-arms trading. And you see Wellings help carry it around. So they were quite into that visual side of the protest.
Yeah, and there was a lot of flags. I mean, that's my main sort of memory. There was a lot of flags.
I don't think I was ever written in space near them. That wasn't my trajectory.
No, mine neither.
But they shouldn't have been infiltrated.
Well,
They were
absolutely.
they were
Yeah,
just doing their, what any civil society is allowed to do: organize protest.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry about the video quality again. Still having problems with the internet here at Juxton House. Hopefully it'll improve at some point, but clearly not today. The broadcast, the hearing starts at 10 a.m, so we'll head in a minute. The broadcast will start at 10 past 10 as usual. Guy Taylor is being broadcast in full with video, so you'll be able to follow on as normal. I've had further complaints about my coverage from the inquiry, so I might be a little bit more delayed than usual, but in my tweets, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, please do tune in. You can follow it on just following the hashtag SpyCops on X. Other platforms will be kind of doing bits and pieces as well. So if you've got any questions, anything you want to know, please just leave a comment. Please like, share, subscribe to these videos. It makes a huge difference to how widely they're seen. Anything else to add?
Nope.
Let's go on in. Thanks for joining us. See you at the first break. Bye for now.